I feel like I've got to do this because what I'm going to say is so sacrilegious. I will let you yell at me to your heart's content if you hear me out first. This is the biggest impact I can make if I can convince you to do this one thing. When you put out on the internet this art that we do, Taiji, you have to spell it out as T-A-I space C-H-I. Not T-A-I-J-I or T-A-I-J-I-Q-U-A-N. In Chinese, Taiji is the philosophy. Taijiquan is the martial arts. T-A-I-C-H-I. That's how people know of this art in English. It's in the dictionary. Here lies the problem.
Tai Chi.
It's not pronounced correctly. Sick and tired for the 1,000th time. Actually, it's not pronounced Tai Chi. And the Chi that you're thinking about, that you know of in Qigong, that's not the Chi in Tai Chi that you're actually pronouncing incorrectly. Now we have pinyin. If you're going to write into English a Chinese word, pinyin became the international standard in 1982. If you use pinyin, then it would be spelled this way, T-A-I-J-I-Q-U-A-N. If we use this word, it would solve that pronunciation problem. Logically, it makes perfect sense. Except it doesn't exist as an English word. Neither does Taijiquan. So we're insisting on using these two words that don't exist as words. But you know what does exist as a word in the dictionary? Taiji. Do you know how many words exist in the English dictionary? Qigong exists. The old spelling of Qigong also exists. What about the other martial arts? Karate's in the dictionary. Taekwondo. Even capoeira is in the dictionary. Do you know what's not in the dictionary? Taiji, with a J-I. Taijiquan. There is so much good stuff that's under T-A-I-J-I that no one gets to see. Because no one other than the people who are already in the know are going to search that. You think that you're putting this information out for everybody to see. Instead, you're really just emailing a Word doc around to your little group of friends. Let's say you are supposed to present at a big conference and you're a really important speaker at this conference. All these people are interested in what you might have to say. You know what you're talking about, and they're waiting for you in the conference room, but you're giving your presentation in the bathroom. How are people supposed to know? Maybe a couple of your friends know that you're going to be in the bathroom, but everybody else is waiting for you in the conference room. That's what is happening when you use T-A-I-J-I for your content. All the information written for the general public uses T-A-I-C-H-I. The scientific studies, the news reports reporting on these scientific studies. You Google T-A-I-C-H-I. Remember these two videos? There's 9 million view one, Taiji 5 minutes a day, and Jake Mace's top 10 Taiji moves for beginners. The top 2 Google results for T-A-I-C-H-I are not Taiji. Both of them are doing Qigong. Scroll down and see what are the results? Seniors, stress reduction, health. You look at the images. If I didn't know anything about Taiji, and I look at this, it's not really a martial art. You put that in quotes. Maybe a long time ago it was, but I wouldn't think of it as a martial art if I look at these images. I would think that it's basically moving yoga. But if you go and you search Taijiquan, it's like you're looking at something different. Power, martial applications, fighting. I look at this and I think, oh yeah, internal martial art. I can see that. Google Trends, Taichi. Let's compare the difference between Taiji. This Taijiquan, not even above zero there. You just do one thing, the title, Taichi. First couple of lines in the description. You can also tag Taiji, but when people search Taichi, the images on the other page should be here. What you've done by taking all of your stuff and putting it somewhere else, you're not allowing people who are searching to see the full picture. And we want people to see the full picture because that's the English word. Using pinyin doesn't actually make it more authentic. We don't expect all the other words that are in the English dictionary that were translated from Chinese are changed. Like, should we change tofu now? Just because in pinyin it would be doufu, doufu. If there's one thing that like people can change right now, this could make such a difference. If people search on Google, on YouTube, and they see like all these really, really great practitioners and teachers, then we can get that full representation. I'm the Ronin in the Tai Chi world. I'm not entrenched in any faction. And I'm not new to the scene either. I've just been silently observing. And I have a different perspective too, being a woman who has navigated this. The women are the ones that are flocking to this. The men are the ones that are flocking to this. This is a yin-yang problem. What is Taiji? You don't need 1,000-word explanation. This is Taiji. Yin, yang. Change. If you think about yin and yang in the most basic and obvious examples, yin, female, yang, male, right? If you are a teacher of this art and you don't actually have this achieved in the makeup of your students, the concept of playing Taiji. If this person did this, then I do this, and then you can do this, and then I can do this. It is practical. You know what's even more practical? Using it in your actual daily life. That is as practical as you can make it. When people say, people who only do forms don't understand the practical applications of Taiji. And that's true. If you've only done forms and you've never felt how your body reacts to somebody push you off balance, then you are missing a practical aspect. But if your practical aspect is limited to playing how this interaction works and you've never used it in your everyday life, then I think you're missing another layer of practicality. If in your life you get into arguments with people all the time because you don't know how to yield, you don't know how to redirect, and you just punch and punch and punch, have you really achieved this? If you're a teacher and your students are 90% guys, if you're a teacher and your students are 90% women, have you achieved this? Why should somebody want to learn it? If it's just a play, it's not that relevant. Only a few people might be interested in playing it. But if more people understood, all the martial arts philosophies of Taiji are so relevant and applicable to your daily life. Like, I used it every day going into senior leadership meetings where people are trying to advance themselves at your expense, not working together to advance a project. I, every single day, faced lots and lots of pushing, but I kept being able to go forward because I used my Taiji application in that situation. Taiji movements, every movement is a defense and attack. And that attack is responsive to the attack given to you. You don't attack if there's no need to. But if you're attacked, then you defend and attack back. But responsive, only what was given to you and no more. So the other person realizes, hey, this is not so productive for me. I'm just going to stop. If you attack more, then that will egg them to want to attack you back even more. That's when it escalates. So if somebody attacks you and you give them back what they gave you, then they will probably just stop. If we can connect with people on that point, Taiji becomes relevant. And not just Taiji as exercise. If I only did Taiji as exercise, I probably would have given that up because there are many forms of exercise. But it's the martial arts application, and you can't apply it in your life if it only exists as a theory. You have to physically experience it in order to apply it. I think it is so relevant, and there's so much to it, and the people who teach it as a martial art have so much to offer. But again, people wouldn't know. You search Taiji, like you heard a little bit about Taiji as a martial art, and then you search it and then you see this and you're like, what? So I want the stuff you find here in that search when you search Taiji. This is what people are searching. This word does not exist. Back to that first point. I ran track when I was in high school. I ran my individual races, but we also ran relay races. That's where I want to see the Taiji community come together for a relay race. Take you into deeper learning. If we were to think about a 4-leg relay race, my ability, I put it in the second leg. I know my students and people who don't know think that I'm so good. I know myself and where my ability is. I'm in the second leg. We will have way more people in that first leg. What I want to see is if we can pass the people on further and further down. So instead of the people who have the deepest knowledge running that fourth leg, thinking that they need to compete with all the people running that first leg, maybe we learn how can we take the people running that first leg to them. By the time the people might be ready to come to me, they have a solid basic foundation of some core principles. They may be totally comfortable staying where they are, but how they learn it is still with proper mechanics, so that for those who actually want to advance up to the second leg, they know what Taiji is, so that more of them are ready to go forward. You will always have students that you grow yourself. You plant the seed, you water them, you raise them, and they become a fully grown plant. In traditional Chinese martial arts, that's the only way you can grow. We haven't come together as a community to define what are those fundamentals. Like, if I'm going to pass you the baton, what do you expect and need from it? How can we agree? Like, what's the floor we all stand on, and stop thinking of each other as competitors, where it's like, oh, that Tai Chi is no good, right? Oh, they're no good. What does that even mean, good? Everybody is setting the standard too high. It's too easy to give up. And so Taijiquan, highest level of standard is expected. And people who can't achieve this higher level of standard gets criticized so much, wind up getting so intimidated and frustrated. They feel like a failure. We go back to, why are there not more women studying it for the internal martial art? If they think this is not for them, then they go to this. And I don't think that it should be one or the other. I think that it is a false choice. A very martial arts thing, definitely a very Chinese and Asian thing. You just get criticized, right? Like, I don't think my teacher ever gave me a single compliment because she put me at her highest standard. I want to make you the best that you can be. So why spend time praising what you can do well? Let's point out the things that you can do better, right? I don't take it personally if somebody criticizes my Tai Chi because they are better. Then it's like, okay, thank you for your teaching. I will reflect and do better. I don't take it personally. For the people who are just starting out, there shouldn't be an expectation that they are getting everything. We know it's really hard, but for people who want to complete that journey, what's the minimum? We need to set the minimum, and then to make sure that people are meeting that minimum. I cannot accept that, oh, Tai Chi is too hard, so I need to do this other thing that is completely devoid of the principles. No, there are a few principles that you can achieve. Rooting, this concept of song, relax, exhibit, a connection. Not going to be easy, but you can learn it, and then you can be able to take that next step. And the steps will lead you to where you want to go. So many students have studied Tai Chi because they really, really wanted to learn it. And they thought they were learning it and found out that they were just learning movement choreography that was not leading them to their destination. In fact, it was leading them away from their destination, because it's so much harder to unlearn a bad habit than it is to just be a blank slate and learn it from scratch. They tell me they wish they knew. No one told them. They went on this journey and no one told them they were going down the wrong path. Why didn't anybody tell them that they were wasting their time for 10 years?